I've had several people ask me how I attach my solar panels to my scamp, so here's a little video that describes the method. It should really work for just about any small boat out there. The method allows for an easy and nearly endless orientation of the panels with minimal weight and maximum strength. It uses readily available parts from the movie set industry. The first part of the setup is a stud onto which the panel will mount. I use two half-inch stainless steel studs, each mounted about a third of the way inboard from the gunnels on the stern. Each stud is threaded on one end so I can screw it into a coupling nut that I've epoxied into a block of hardwood. I use a wing nut to counter-tighten the stud in place. This wing nut allows me to remove the stud without tools in the field. The whole thing is through-bolted onto the transom with two 6mm stainless bolts. The second part of the setup is called a grip head. It's a standard piece of equipment on movie sets, and you can purchase them just about anywhere that sells audiovisual equipment. There's several standard sizes available out there, and you want to be careful here with the weight. I found that for 50-watt panels like I use, the mini grip head from Matthews does just the trick. It's burly enough to secure the panels in any orientation, but it isn't as heavy as the standard heads, which clock in at about a couple of pounds each. It's also not made of metal, unlike the larger ones, which is more durable in marine environments. The basic way this is going to work is the hole on the left will fit over the transom dowel that I discussed before, and the 3/8-inch hole on the right next to the handle is used to hold and orient the panel. The large knob at the right is used to tighten or loosen the hole mechanism, which in turn allows you to orient the panel or lock it in place with about a quarter turn of the handle. The final piece of the setup also uses a piece of movie set equipment. This time it's called a flag frame. Essentially, it's a rectangular frame of tubular aluminum with a rod extending from the frame. That rod is a standard size and fits neatly into the grip head. It's all standard sizing in the industry, and any grip head made to accept 3/8-inch accessories will fit flag frames. The frames come in different aspect ratios, and you can find one that will fit your panel. To put it all together, I attached the flag frame onto the solar panel with two pieces of cedar. I routed a groove into that cedar to capture the frame and then epoxied the wood onto the panel. Once that's done, that's it. You just insert your flag frame, now secured to the panel, to the grip head, orient it how you wish, and tighten the locking mechanism with the handle. Hopefully you can see from this picture that the panel can be rotated and oriented in just about any axis. Here's a view from underneath to give you a better idea. That orange cord is just a tether that I use as safety so I don't lose the panel overboard. Once the head is locked in, you can set and forget. Here's an example of my typical orientation. I leave them both parallel and in the same plane as the water. Being off the stern like this, they're completely out of the way of the normal operation of the boat. Here's an example of a non-symmetrical setup. I was trying to catch the most I could from the late afternoon sun and oriented the left panel towards the sun. This shaded the right panel, so I lifted it up and out of the shade to its own spot of sun. Another frequent adjustment that I make is I tilt the panels towards the sun if I know I'm going to be on that same tack for a while. Here's an example of that. I knew I was going to stay on this tack for about 2 to 3 miles, so I tilted both panels to ensure they captured the most energy possible. Having orientable panels like this really maximizes the 100 watts of solar panels that you can carry on a dinghy. So I hope that helps someone. It's a cheap, robust, and flexible method for attaching solar panels to a small boat.